Reece Beekman player comparisons. We have a best case and a worst case, and we're going to try and convince each other that our comp is better than the other person's. Somehow I'm a little higher on Reece Beekman than you. I didn't expect that as our in-house ACC guy, but you can go first for this exercise, Riley. What is your best case scenario Reece Beekman comp?
So best case is Elfrid Payton, in my opinion. They're similar size. Both was like Peyton's whole thing in the NBA was look how good of a passer I am, look how many assists I can rack up, and then eventually it caught up to him because he wasn't that good of an athlete. But if you look at his college tape, National Defensive Player of the Year, there's a lot of similarities with Reece in that sense. Reece, I don't think is the pure point guard that Peyton was. Like Peyton set up his teammates so well, but like you can't argue with the assist numbers that Beekman put up really his last 2 years at Virginia. I mean, he led the country in assist rate his last year in Charlottesville, which was pretty surprising to me when I saw that number. So I think if he hits his ceiling, it's going to be 6 or 7 years in the league, some good assist numbers in there, some good defense, but outside of that, not much offense.
I can totally see that. I think I'm going to lean your comp over mine because I totally fell for I think this guy's 6'5" thing here. I compared him to Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn was like stat stuffer production guy in college on a bad team. And I think it was kind of like, well, he'll at least be a really good defensive stopper. Maybe he'll learn the point guard stuff. Maybe he'll learn the scoring. He'll get out of that Providence system, though, and everything will be good. And I think people are kind of making that case for Reece, but in reality, it's more likely there's some problems here than it is that Virginia really held him back.
I like my comp better. Part of this is because I loved Chris Dunn. I always believed in Chris Dunn. When he came into the draft, the 2% of me that cared about the Hornets was like, Hornets need to draft this dude. He'd be a star in Charlotte. And I've never given up on him. But I think he was like also kind of a bucket at Providence. Am
He
I
was
am I
more of an
misremembering?
offensive first guy at Providence for
I
sure.
swear he averaged like 16 or 17 points per game at Providence.
I buy it. He was definitely more offense than Reece. I'll go Peyton. I think that's the better comp between our two. What's your worst case Reece Beekman comp?
Worst case for him was Wade Baldwin the fourth. You remember
Ooh,
him?
I do remember Wade Baldwin. I liked him a lot.
I liked Wade Baldwin a lot too. And honestly, it's kind of shocking. The comp there for me with Wade Baldwin is they both had like funky looking jump shots. And Wade had a year, I want to say, of decent percentages at Vandy shooting from three, but you could always tell like the jump shot was the biggest question coming into the NBA. Baldwin had, I think, at a 6'11" wingspan though. That's where he does have Beekman beat, but I Beekman to me does strike me more as like more of a true natural instinct type of defensive player, whereas Baldwin was more of a measurables guy. But yeah, Baldwin's tearing it up in Europe, so like not the worst possible career outcome, but just never stuck in the NBA, never really clicked for him.
I do think Beekman would be happy to have the overseas career that Wade Baldwin currently has. I went a guy who I think is similar to Wade in at least archetype. I went DJ Carton for his worst case comp. Remember DJ?
Yeah, I like that DJ Carton comp too.
Yeah, I loved DJ Carton as like a recruit, but year after year
Same.
he kept disappointing me. And then he finally got a look in the NBA, and it was a quick look in the NBA. And he's still young, and maybe he'll find his way back on a roster, but it's kind of like combo-y guard. You don't want him to play point guard, but he has some defensive stuff, and ultimately just not good enough.
I'll go. Let's go with Peyton and Carton. I like that Carton pull a lot. Especially both Beekman and Carton busted the heels a good bit. So, like
There you
that
have it,
that
folks.
that COVID season, the 2020-2021 season, where UNC, I don't know if you have any memory of this. UNC had a game canceled and just scheduled Marquette on a whim to come to Chapel Hill. It was like a Marquette team that was like 14-15, and they beat UNC by like 20 in the Dean Dome, an empty Dean Dome, but DJ Carton was an absolute problem. So he has that with Reece too. Reece had a lot of good games against UNC.
That's a great poll. I love it. All right. Elfrid Payton, DJ Carton, Reece Beekman, and all their names are two-syllable last names that end in "un." I feel pretty good about that. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/nba-mini-games.